It seems like every few weeks we hear something new about Sean Diddy Combs, and somehow, each story feels heavier than the last. Recently, a picture surfaced that's left many fans heartbroken and others simply speechless. The photo, reportedly taken inside the Fort Dix Federal Correctional Institution, shows Diddy looking like a man completely worn down by life. Gone is the image of the confident mogul we once saw walking red carpets and performing on stage. Instead, what we see is someone staring blankly through prison bars, appearing deep in thought, and, quite frankly, exhausted beyond words. His hands, once holding microphones and champagne glasses, now show marks and rough skin, evidence of hard work and the toll that life behind bars has taken. For those who followed Diddy's journey from music success to business fame, this image feels like the story of a man who's lost everything that used to define him. Once celebrated as a billionaire entrepreneur, a record producer, and one of the biggest names in entertainment, Diddy now finds himself in a very different world. Prison life doesn't care about fame or fortune. Behind those walls, everyone is equal in their loss of freedom, and that reality seems to have caught up with him in full force. Observers say he looks troubled, deep in regret, and overwhelmed by the silence of confinement. People who have seen the photo say it's haunting. Diddy looks out from behind the bars as though questioning every decision that led him there. His face looks tired, and there's a sadness in his eyes that's hard to ignore. Those who remember his energy on stage, or his smile during award shows, can hardly believe this is the same man. It's a reminder that life can change drastically, and sometimes the higher you climb, the harder the fall can be. Now, Diddy's time at Fort Dix hasn't been easy. Reports from inside suggest that he was hoping this move would be a fresh start, a calmer environment compared to the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, where he was previously held. At first, it might have seemed like an improvement. Fort Dix is known to be a lower security facility, offering more open spaces and some structured work programs. But those who've been there say that while the conditions may be slightly better, the mental toll remains the same. There's no escaping the reality of prison life. And for someone like Diddy, who is used to luxury, control, and constant attention, that adjustment can be especially harsh. Observers say Diddy has been assigned to manual labor duties, including laundry work and cleaning. It's humbling work, and while some may find a sense of structure in it, for a man who once commanded entire companies and luxury estates, it's an unthinkable shift. Still, some see it as a sign that reality has finally caught up to him. The same hands that once signed million-dollar contracts are now folding prison uniforms. The same man who once had assistants running his errands now follows the daily schedule set by prison officers. There's something deeply symbolic about that contrast. It's as if life is teaching a painful lesson about humility and consequence. For older audiences who have watched Diddy's rise since the 1990s, this story feels especially surreal. Many remember when he was the golden boy of hip-hop, a young visionary who turned a record label into a global brand. He was admired for his business sense and creativity, often described as someone who could make something out of nothing. To see him now reduced to this state is difficult for longtime fans to process. It's more than just a celebrity downfall. It's a story of how choices, power, and pride can lead even the most successful people to the lowest points. In the courtroom not long ago, Diddy appeared visibly distraught. Those who were there said he seemed desperate to avoid more time behind bars. His lawyers pleaded passionately, and his family was emotional, hoping for leniency. But the court didn't grant him the release he was pushing for. Since then, his demeanor has changed. The confident man who once strutted into rooms now sits quietly, often keeping to himself. Reports suggest that he's become withdrawn, spending more time reflecting and less time engaging with others. It's easy to forget that Diddy is still a human being beneath the headlines. He has children who have watched this unfold, friends who no longer know how to reach him, and a legacy that's been completely rewritten in a matter of months. The same media that once praised him now documents his downfall in painful detail. Every new report seems to dig deeper into how far he's fallen from grace. Meanwhile, Jay-Z's name has also resurfaced in connection with new legal troubles. According to recent filings, his company Roc Nation and related business entities have been named in lawsuits involving financial dealings overseas. Though nothing has been proven yet, and Jay-Z maintains his innocence, it's another reminder of how fragile reputation and success can be in the public eye. The documents reportedly mention claims of financial mismanagement involving several major corporations and names tied to his business ventures. It's a complex situation, one that could take years to fully resolve, but it's added even more tension to an already chaotic time in the entertainment industry. Back to Diddy. People close to him say that even though Fort Dix is safer than his previous prison, the atmosphere is still far from peaceful. The facility houses hundreds of inmates, many of whom know exactly who he is. Fame doesn't earn you special treatment in a place like that. If anything, it can make life more complicated. Some might see him as a target, others might be curious, and some might simply ignore him. Either way, it's a long way from the spotlight he used to enjoy. Despite everything, some reports suggest that Diddy is trying to stay focused on his mental health. He's said to be reading more, writing, and occasionally exercising when allowed. For someone who lived a life of constant motion and chaos, being forced into stillness might be one of the hardest parts of this entire experience. The silence of prison walls has a way of making people face themselves. And for Diddy, that self-reflection might be more painful than any sentence. It's hard not to feel a mix of emotions when thinking about all this. For years, Diddy was seen as untouchable, a man whose charm and drive kept him at the top of every game he played. But time and truth have a way of catching up. Whether you view him with sympathy or judgment, it's impossible to ignore the message behind what's happening. No amount of fame, money, or power can protect you from the consequences of your actions. In this first look into his life behind bars, what stands out most is not the scandal or the sensational stories. It's the humanity. The photo shows a man stripped of everything that once made him larger than life. And maybe in that space of quiet and consequence, there's an opportunity for reflection, even redemption. Life has slowed down for Sean Combs in a way it never has before. And perhaps, just perhaps, that's where the real story begins. As the days turn into weeks, Sean Diddy Combs is slowly beginning to face the reality that his world has changed for good. Life behind bars is nothing like the carefully controlled empire he once managed outside. Gone are the assistants, the private jets, the tailored suits, and the endless parties. What remains is a strict daily routine, a cold metal bunk, and a small room that offers no privacy and no luxury. For someone who lived decades surrounded by constant noise and admiration, the silence must be deafening. There are no cheering crowds now, just the sound of steel doors closing, keys jingling, and distant voices echoing through the hallways of Fort Dix. People who have spent time at that facility describe it as a place that slowly breaks down your sense of time. Days blend into one another, and you start to measure life in moments of light and darkness. For Diddy, this might be his first true encounter with stillness, a stillness that forces him to confront the consequences of every choice he made. Sources say that at first, he tried to keep up a front of confidence, maybe even denial. He reportedly walked with his head held high during the first few days, as though trying to remind everyone who he once was. But the truth is, fame doesn't follow you inside. Within those walls, everyone has a number, and respect is earned differently. The adjustment period has been tough. According to insiders, Diddy spends long hours in his cell reading, writing, and reflecting. He has always been a thinker and a planner, but now, those plans can only reach so far. Reports say he's been trying to write about his life, his rise, his mistakes, and the lessons he's learning through all this. Some believe he's preparing to release a memoir someday, something that could show the man behind the celebrity image. Others think it's just a form of therapy, a way to process what he's going through. Either way, there's no denying that he's been forced to look inward for the first time in years. Inmates who have seen him describe a man who keeps mostly to himself. He eats quietly, rarely speaks unless spoken to, and often takes his time walking the yard when given outdoor hours. There are no flashy displays, no loud behavior, just a quiet, reflective energy. Some say that he's lost weight, while others mention that his eyes carry the weight of sleepless nights. One inmate reportedly said, "He looks like he's carrying the world on his shoulders." And maybe he is. Diddy's entire identity was built on being larger than life, and now, he's living in a place that has stripped him of every symbol of that identity. Meanwhile, on the outside, the world keeps moving. His music still streams online, but fans are divided. Some remain loyal, saying they'll stand by him no matter what. Others feel disappointed, unable to separate the man from the headlines. The entertainment industry, which once bowed at his influence, has grown quiet about him. The companies he helped build are being run by others now. Deals have been frozen, endorsements canceled, and partnerships ended. What once seemed like an unshakable empire has crumbled almost overnight. It's a lesson in how quickly success can fade when the foundation isn't steady. Jay-Z's situation hasn't made things easier for the industry either. His name has been mentioned in several ongoing investigations involving international business dealings and alleged financial irregularities. While he hasn't been charged with anything, the association alone has caused a ripple of concern. People close to Jay-Z say he's frustrated and determined to clear his name, focusing on his family and his music empire in the meantime. Still, the constant spotlight on both him and Diddy has made this one of the most turbulent times in modern hip-hop history. The two men once represented the American dream, rising from nothing to global icons. Now, their names are often mentioned in the context of legal battles, losses, and broken trust. Back in Fort Dix, Diddy's day starts early. Lights come on around 6 a.m., and every inmate has to make their bed, dress in uniform, and prepare for inspection. Breakfast is usually simple: oatmeal, toast, or powdered eggs. He then joins the other inmates for his assigned duties. Some days that means working in the laundry room, where the heat and steam can be suffocating. Other days he's seen sweeping hallways or cleaning the recreational areas. For a man who used to have people working for him, this reversal of roles must be humbling. Yet, some say he doesn't complain. In fact, there are whispers that he's begun helping others adjust, offering advice or encouragement to younger inmates who are struggling. There's also talk that he's begun attending group sessions focused on rehabilitation and accountability. These programs help inmates reflect on their actions, understand the impact of their choices, and prepare for life after release. While it's unclear how active Diddy is in these sessions, it's said that he listens more than he speaks. A counselor reportedly described him as a man trying to rebuild from the inside out. That description has stuck with many because it paints a picture of someone who might finally be learning humility after years of excess. Emotionally, it's been said that Diddy misses his family deeply. His children, who once appeared proudly beside him at events, have been quieter on social media. They're coping in their own ways, trying to maintain some normalcy while their father faces his time behind bars. Friends say that his mother, who has always been a strong presence in his life, has expressed heartbreak over seeing her son like this. No parent, regardless of age or fame, ever stops worrying about their child, and that pain shows in her public appearances. For older fans, especially parents and grandparents, that part of the story hits hard. It's a reminder that no matter how grown your children get, you still feel every one of their struggles. As for Diddy himself, it seems the walls have started to close in mentally. There's a certain rhythm to prison life that eventually becomes numbingly repetitive, and that monotony can be emotionally exhausting. For someone who once thrived on adrenaline, constant movement, and creativity, the slow crawl of prison time must feel unbearable. Reports say he sometimes stares out the window for hours, just watching the small patch of sky above the yard. Maybe he's thinking about freedom. Maybe he's replaying his choices. Or maybe he's trying to imagine what life will look like when this chapter ends, if it ever truly does. Outside those walls, there are mixed feelings about whether Diddy deserves redemption. Some argue that everyone makes mistakes and deserves a chance to change. Others believe certain actions can't be undone. But one thing most people can agree on is that this experience has forever changed him. The confident man who once boasted about power and control now appears stripped of ego, forced to live a life where the only thing left to control is his own mind. One source close to Diddy said, "He's learning to be quiet for the first time in his life." That line stands out because it says more than it seems to. For decades, his voice dominated radio stations, interviews, and stages. Now that same voice is being used to whisper, reflect, and pray. He's said to have found comfort in faith again, reading spiritual books, listening to gospel programs, and occasionally writing down verses that speak to him. Maybe it's his way of finding peace in a place designed to take peace away. Jay-Z, meanwhile, has reportedly reached out privately, offering words of encouragement and reminding Diddy that time has a way of revealing truth. The two men have shared a complicated friendship, part rivalry, part brotherhood. Now, with both of them facing challenges of their own, their bond seems quieter but more genuine. Fame often builds walls between people, but hardship has a strange way of bringing them back together. The next few months will be critical for Diddy. His legal team continues to work behind the scenes, hoping for progress on appeals and potential sentence adjustments. But until something changes, he remains at Fort Dix, serving his time in the same environment as every other inmate. For someone who once stood on top of the world, this might be the hardest lesson of all. When everything else is stripped away, you're left with who you really are. As the months continue to pass, Sean Diddy Combs seems to be entering a different phase of acceptance. The man who once lived for speed, attention, and applause is now learning the quiet rhythm of stillness. Every sunrise and sunset inside those walls looks the same, yet something within him has started to shift. He's not the man who walked into Fort Dix months ago. There's a stillness in his eyes, a gentleness in his tone, and perhaps a small spark of humility that wasn't visible before. People who've interacted with him say he now speaks slowly and chooses his words carefully. He doesn't interrupt, doesn't boast, he listens. That in itself is a transformation. He has reportedly found a daily routine that brings him a sense of calm. After breakfast, he spends time reading and journaling. In the afternoons, he walks in the recreation yard, sometimes by himself, sometimes with one or two others he trusts. He's not involved in any trouble, doesn't seek attention, and avoids conflict. To many, that's a sign that he's trying to rebuild his sense of peace from the inside out. The walls around him might still be high, but emotionally, he seems to be finding his footing again. Those close to him say that Diddy has been reflecting deeply on the people in his life. His children, his mother, his family, and even his friends who drifted away. One letter, reportedly written to a longtime friend, contained a simple but powerful line. "I had everything, but I wasn't always grateful for it." That line alone tells you how far he's come mentally. Fame can often make people forget what really matters, but time alone has a way of bringing back clarity. For Diddy, that clarity seems to be arriving in small but steady waves. Inmates say that sometimes he can be found in the chapel during quiet hours, sitting in the back pew, head bowed, lost in thought. Whether he's praying or just trying to find comfort, no one knows. But they say he sits there for long stretches of time, as if trying to connect with something greater than himself. He's not the loud presence he once was. He's simply another man searching for meaning. Some even describe him as polite, respectful, and surprisingly humble. Words rarely used to describe him before all of this. On the outside, though, the conversation around Diddy continues to stir. The media hasn't let go of his name. Every new headline brings speculation about his next move, his future, and what life will look like once he's released. Will he return to music? Will he write a book? Or will he walk away from the spotlight altogether? No one truly knows. But one thing seems clear, his perspective has changed. The glitz and glamour that once defined his every decision no longer hold the same meaning. The people who visit him say he talks less about fame and more about forgiveness, both seeking it and learning to give it. At the same time, Jay-Z continues to navigate his own share of headlines and business challenges. Yet despite everything, there's still mutual respect between these two men who helped shape an entire generation of music. Their friendship, though quiet now, seems to stand as a reminder of where they came from and how far they've both traveled, both the highs and the lows. Jay-Z has reportedly been sending short messages of encouragement, telling Diddy to stay grounded and to keep his head in the light. In a world that often celebrates rivalry, it's a rare moment of grace and brotherhood. For fans, especially those who've grown up with these two icons, the story has become something deeper than celebrity drama. It's a lesson about life, choices, and the way time humbles us all. Many older fans, those who have lived through decades of change, say they see something familiar in this story. The rise, the fall, and the search for redemption. We all make mistakes. We all face moments that force us to sit still and ask ourselves who we really are when no one's watching. Diddy's story, stripped of fame and filtered through silence, feels universal in that way. It's not about money or music anymore. It's about being human. Rumors have surfaced that he's been mentoring younger inmates, guiding them through their own struggles, helping them stay calm, and reminding them that they're more than the worst thing they've ever done. If true, that's a powerful sign of growth. It shows that he's beginning to understand that leadership isn't about control, it's about compassion. The same charisma that once made him a global icon might now be serving a quieter, more meaningful purpose, helping others find hope where there seems to be none. Letters from supporters still reach him every week. Some are from fans who say they grew up on his music and are praying for him to find peace. Others come from people who've been through similar situations, offering words of comfort and faith. Each one is a reminder that despite everything, there's still love out there for him. Some insiders claim that Diddy keeps these letters neatly stacked beside his bed, rereading them on difficult days. Maybe they remind him that his story isn't over yet, that there's still a possibility of light after darkness. As time goes on, Diddy will have to make choices about what comes next. When he's eventually released, will he return to the stage, or will he focus on rebuilding his relationships in private? Some believe he might step away from the public eye completely, choosing peace over publicity. Others think he'll use his story to inspire people, speaking about lessons learned, resilience, and the importance of staying grounded. Whatever he decides, one thing is certain: he will never see life the same way again. Every sunrise through those narrow prison windows has likely taught him something no amount of fame ever could. For now, though, he continues to live each day as it comes. One quiet morning, one small meal, one evening at a time. And maybe, just maybe, that's the first step toward real change. Because sometimes life has to take everything away before it can teach us what truly matters. Maybe that's the lesson Diddy is learning: the difference between success and peace. As for Jay-Z, the challenges around him remain, but he too seems to be focusing more on legacy than competition. It's as if both men, once at the center of the world's attention, are now learning to find peace away from it. And that might be the real story here: not the scandals, not the lawsuits, but the quiet realization that life is about more than fame. It's about understanding who you are when the noise fades away. Speech balloon final thoughts for our channel family, and that brings us to the end of today's story, my friends. What we're witnessing here isn't just the fall of two powerful names. It's a human story about reflection, loss, and perhaps redemption. Whether you agree or not, we can all take something from it. Life has a way of humbling even the strongest, and it's never too late to change, to forgive, and to start again. If you've stayed with me through this entire story, thank you. Your time, your attention, and your kindness mean more than words can say. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps this channel grow and reach others who enjoy thoughtful, real conversations about the people and events shaping our world. Every single click truly makes a difference. So until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and remember, no matter how heavy life gets, there's always room for hope, healing, and a fresh start. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.